Sono Christy Grimshaw, sono una giocatrice del Milan Scozia. What's happening? Ciao! Come stai?
Bene, tu?
Bene, bene. Ciao Rus.
Ciao.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good? Good, thank you. Greta! Come stai? Sì, ho dormito bene, grazie. E tu? Ciao! How was national team?
Good, how are you?
Hi, Nima, how are you? Good, thanks. You working hard? Yeah? Good? How was your week?
You got tanned?
I'm so glad you said that. That is so important. Thank you. Now I can spend the rest of my day happy. Ciao, Cri. Come stai? Back in the times of COVID, obviously, I was in France, and I remember actually I'd just left France, and obviously we weren't sure what was happening with the season or what was happening in the next year or what I wanted to do. Actually, my agent messaged me just saying, just so you know, I think AC Milan are really interested, and obviously just a few other teams in Italy. And as soon as he said, like, I didn't even pay attention to the other teams in Italy. It was AC Milan got my attention immediately, and yeah, obviously I ran downstairs, told my mum and dad, and they were just like, oh, AC Milan's pretty huge actually, and I was like, yeah. When I hear AC Milan, obviously I think like history, huge club, passion, all like obviously positive associations come with the club, and my favourite colour is red, so it's a big thing there as well.
Christy's obviously shown herself to be very open-minded throughout her career, you know, having studied and played in America and now going over to Italy with that same open-minded attitude to embrace everything that there is to offer both on and off the pitch there. Milan seem to be a very progressive club when it comes to the women's side of their operation. Paolo Maldini, the legend there who now works behind the scenes, is very hands-on in terms of kind of creating opportunities and facilities for that team. And I think the game in general in Italy, the women's game, has undergone a massive transformation in the last decade or so. There's some fantastic crowds being attracted to games. People seem to be really buying into it in a big way, which in turn has created, you know, investment on the pitch, which has improved the level of product. So I think it's a really exciting place to have Scotland players playing again, to then bring back that knowledge to the national team setup.
Tipo un documentary? Sì, sì. Su io, Lana, anche Lana. Lana, sì. The coolest thing I've done is probably sticking with Milan here, playing at San Siro. Definitely, I think that was where obviously it was the first women's game that's been played there, and we know that the stadium's obviously not going to be there forever, so definitely a big game against Juve. Walking out onto that big, huge, like, historic stadium feels like almost a dream, because obviously the lights were so bright, you know, so that's the first thing I remember, obviously, when we're walking out as the team. At
Milan, there's obviously, you know, a proud Scottish connection there with Joe Jordan, the Squallow, the Shark as they called him back in the day. He was a massive fan's favourite, and hopefully Christy can follow in those footsteps in a kind of similar role on the park. They like their kind of, you know, people with a bit of attacking ambition who really kind of put themselves about on the park, and she certainly seems to live up to that bill. It's been a little bit difficult just for the past few months, obviously with injury, for me, and when you are away from home, that does add a little bit more difficulty, because obviously I've come here to play football. When you are injured, it's kind of like, okay, why are you here? Like, then I'm having to come to training and obviously not do what I'm here to do, the sport I love. So it's kind of like, if I was at home, maybe the situation would be a little bit easier with my family, my friends and everything around, but at the same time you just have to, you know, like, get through it, and like I said, everything makes you stronger and you learn from everything, and I've definitely grown a lot in every difficulty that I've faced, you know, with injury. It's maybe why I'm like the strong person I am today, you know, like cliche again, but it's definitely true. There's been times where I've really, really wanted just to go home, and, you know, like, especially when you go somewhere new initially, and you're struggling to communicate and you're struggling to settle in, you know, and adapt. I can understand obviously why people are a little reluctant to leave their comfort zone or leave their country, but for me, now that I've done it, it's probably the best thing I've done. When I'm away for a national team and I come back and I'm extra Scottish, obviously, I said thanks, but I said like ta, and then some of the girls were like, that's a weird thing to say, like what's ta? And now they've started saying ta. How cute is that? That's so cute. I've got a sheet still saved in my phone actually, and obviously in the group chat, the team group chat, the first thing that's sent in at the start of every season is some things that help you, you know, like on the football pitch when I'm around the Italian girls who are complaining Italian or something. Now I've started doing the gestures as well. Obviously, my hands, I need to keep my hands like this because it's such an Italian thing. I am, like, sometimes obviously in the nicest way, I do swear a little bit in Italian actually, because I'm hearing it obviously from everyone else. When I do get a call up, obviously it's definitely extra special, because then I'm absolutely buzzing to hear Scottish accents again, and the feeling never really wears off, like when the first time I get the call from Pedro, or I see my name on the list.
Milan's a fantastically busy city, always something going on. I remember a line from that Arrigo Sacchi book that I translated, where he talked about it being the perfect place to introduce pressing, because that is the Milanese way of life. Everything's done at 100 miles an hour, people are always rushing about. And he said if you tried to do it in Rome, where everyone's a wee bit more kind of mañana, it wouldn't have had the same effect.
Coffee, 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 coffee. Ciao, posso avere un espresso per favore, normale, e anche un ginseng.
Piccolo o grande?
Piccolo o grande? Grande, grande per favore. Grazie. So growing up through my teens, I was a waitress in Stonehaven when I was like 14, 15, 16, all the way up until a year before I actually started playing professionally. And back then, obviously, I had no idea that I wanted to play professionally. It was just living the most normal life probably a teenager would live, actually. After I was graduating university in America, for the next few years, I wanted to see as much of the world as possible. I knew that I would be working for the rest of my life, regardless of what I was doing, I've got a master's degree in business administration, so whether it was down that path, or I never actually fully decided that I wanted to play professionally at all. I just wanted to enjoy what I was doing. I always enjoyed the comfort of my own home, the comfort of my own bed, even away trips. I hated going on away trips, spending the whole day away from home. I just took a leap of faith and went to America, and obviously I've not been home since then, so football's definitely changed, in confidence, everything like that. Definitely changed my whole mindset. I can, after training every day, there's a new coffee place that I want to explore, and the city's huge, so there's so much I actually still haven't seen after 3 years. So I really like that as well. My mum and dad, my family come over a lot. Friends from Scotland as well that are actually coming over in April, so they take advantage as much as they can, and they're always telling me go to all these European cities so we can have free holidays. Yeah, all right, no problem. I would never have jumped out of my comfort zone to go and explore cities for long periods of time. So having football that pushes me to do that, I've learned so much, about myself and about all the places that I've been through football. So yeah.